Hi folks, I'm Gene McLaughlin. I'd like to welcome you to Let's Talk About. Today we're going to be talking about a subject that very few of us know anything about, and that's municipal tax sales. To help us sort this through, our tax collector is with us, Dawn Swoboda. Dawn, welcome and thanks for coming out today.
Thank you for having me.
Dawn, to get right to the nut of things, what is a municipal tax sale?
A municipal tax sale is where a lien is placed on the property for unpaid either taxes, interest, added assessments, water and sewer charges, property cleanup charges, or any combination of those items. And I really want to stress, it's just placing a lien on the property, not there's no selling of the property at the actual tax sale.
That's what I wanted to emphasize. So just a lien is being sold.
Just a lien is being sold on the property. So similar if you have a mortgage on your property.
Yes.
The bank or mortgage company has an interest in the property up to the amount of the mortgage. Same thing with a tax sale certificate that's sold. The lien holder has an interest in the property up to the amount of the that they pay at the tax sale.
But the property owner still retains title to the property.
Property owner still retains title of the property.
Okay. Is there a minimum amount or of dollars or a minimum time that puts a property on the tax sale?
Well, we use, there is a statute that allows the tax collector discretionarily to exclude items that are under $100 in value. So that's usually what we do. Anything under $100 we don't place on tax sale, but $100 and over.
And how long must a property be in arrears before it hits the tax sale?
Well, there's two types of tax sales that you can hold. For the past 10 years, Old Bridge has actually held an accelerated tax sale.
Really?
And with an accelerated tax sale, it's held the same year. So for instance, 2017 taxes, water and sewer, the tax sale would be held before December 31st of 2017.
Okay, is this at the discretion of the township, or is there a mandate, a state mandate, that a tax sale must be held?
The state mandates that a tax sale must be held, and it could be either a standard tax sale or an accelerated. Like I said, with the accelerated, it's held before the end of the year. One of the problems we were running into holding it, a lot of people weren't notified. We would send out a general notice with the tax bill that most people didn't read. And a lot of people who got caught up in it, people who just forgot to pay fourth quarter taxes.
Okay.
You know, you're on vacation, you just forget, you come in a couple days late, and it's not just, oh, you owe a little bit of interest. Now there's additional fees, we're only accepting certified funds.
Really?
And the township got into the accelerated tax sale about 10 years back because if you remember, you know, it was
tough times, 2008, yes ma'am.
Tough times for people, tough times for the township as well. Last year we were able to do away with the accelerated tax sale, and we switched over this year back to a standard tax sale.
Okay.
So this year's standard tax sale is going to be held at the end of September. It's going to be only for 2017 taxes, water and sewer, and prior. So more notification was given out if people were behind. You know, they received at least 2 notifications from us for taxes, at least 2 from the MUA before the MUA turned their list over to us.
Okay, you just anticipated my next question. That is, the property owner is notified, obviously, that they're in jeopardy or could be in jeopardy.
Yes.
Okay. What happens if a property owner runs into tough times? Illness, death in the family, loss of job, they can't pay. What do you do?
We accept partial payments at any time throughout the year for taxes. I believe the MUA does as well. We don't take people off the tax sale list make exceptions for those type of issues. The only real exception would be a military deployment.
Okay.
And if that's the case, then they should notify the township immediately.
And then you'll give them some relief?
Yes.
In terms of time or in terms of amount or both?
Yes.
Which gets the relief, the time to pay it or the amount they have to pay?
The time to pay it.
The time to pay it.
The time to pay it. One of the things I see is a lot of people wait till the very end. Like they get the tax sale notice and then they're looking to make payment plans or partial payments. I mean, if they can, I mean, obviously everybody's situation is different, but start, you know, just make partial payments along the way. So that way, you know, it eats away at that balance that they owe.
Is the total amount ever negotiable? Could I negotiate what the amount would be instead of $4,000? Could I negotiate it to $2,800 or
No,
whatever?
taxes are not
Taxes
negotiable.
are taxes. They're not negotiable.
No, absolutely
Okay.
not.
Okay. And they hold once a year. You said this year it's being held, and we'll repeat this till the end of the program too. It's held on
This year
September,
it's being held on Wednesday, September 26th.
September 26th. And where is it being held?
It's being held in the courtroom at the municipal
In
complex.
the courtroom. Okay. Second question, third question. Who moderates this?
I do, the tax
Who
collector.
moderate it? Could you sort of back up a little bit and take us through the process? Say I want to bid. Am I going to get a list, or are you going to publish a list of properties that are vulnerable or properties that are up for sale? Do you publish that list?
Yes, by statute, we have to give 4 consecutive weeks of notification. That's mainly for the property owner. But we advertise in the Home News Tribune. We can either advertise for 4 consecutive weeks, or we can also do 2 in lieu of mailings, where we send 2 consecutive weeks of noticing the homeowner and then advertise in the Home News Tribune. So that's the way a lot of the lien holders will find out about the tax sale. I usually reach out to previous lien holders, or there's resources where they find out when municipalities are holding the tax sale, and then they contact me.
I was going to ask you that. Are there people that make I don't want to say a living, but people make a habit of coming to tax sales and buying liens?
Yes. Many years ago, it tended to be individuals who would come, mom and pop operations. In recent years, though, it's more larger investment companies
Really?
that come in. And they have their bidders who this is what they do for a living, and they know exactly which properties they're going to bid on and how high they're willing to go up.
That's an interesting point, though, Dawn. You're saying a bank or a lending company would come in to bid on the lien. Okay. Do they have to even go that route? Don't they have the power to just foreclose a property outright without going for a
The
lien?
lien holders who come in are not the mortgage company banks. It's more of an investment company, but they usually have a bank that's attached to it.
Okay. If I want to bid, let's say I'm an individual, I'm not a bank or a mortgage company. If I want to bid, do I have to register or do anything in advance?
We do urge you to register in advance. If someone contacts me, I will send them the lien holder registration packet, but we do accept registrations the morning of the tax sale.
Okay, so I could walk in off the street
Yes.
that morning and say, I'd like to be part of this show.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to have a list of properties, right?
Yes.
You will have published it on the web or in the paper.
Yes.
Do I get a chance to look at these properties or examine these properties in advance?
Most investors will go on, they'll either come into our office to, do a little research of our tax records. They'll do an internet search, Google Earth, maybe Zillow to find out about the property. In some cases, do a drive-by of the property, but I mean, they cannot go on the premises.
There's no on-premise
No,
kind of
absolutely
situation,
not.
so they
They'd get
can
arrested.
examine it physically.
No.
Okay. How about a written description, sort of like a real estate description or a Zillow description of the property? Do you provide that, or do they have to get that?
They would have to get that off the internet or Zillow. We don't have that in our office.
Okay, so now the sale is underway. The sale begins. How do you open the sale? What's your routine, or what's your mode of opening the sale?
Pretty much I just, a brief introduction of, who I am. And as far as how the process is going to go, I usually read off block, lot, sometimes address, and the
Right.
amount that's due. The lien holders, they're all, this is what they do for a living.
Pretty savvy.
Most of them.
Pretty simple.
So they just want to get right to it. And I just read off block, lot, amount due, and they'll just start bidding. Bidding starts at 18% interest. They'll bid it down usually to 0, and they'll start bidding up at a premium in $100 increments.
That's what caught my attention when I was doing some research on this. That's what caught my attention. So let's say, for example, there's a property in arrears, $5,000 property.
Yes.
$5,000 debt, plus 18% interest is due on that.
Yep.
Okay, now, help us with the bidding war. How does the bidding go? Do you bounce back and forth like a typical auction? Do people just jump up and raise their hand? How does it work? just process-wise?
They just yell out with the percentages, 18, 17, 16, 15. Sometimes they'll just jump. If they know they all want it, they'll go from 18 to 0 and then start bidding up in premium. Sometimes $100 increments. Sometimes they'll jump right to $1,000 increments.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes a bid attractive or a property attractive for a bidder to go after?
Honestly, I'm not sure because different investors are looking for different things. Some of them I find will bid on smaller ones, like just a water and sewer.
Yeah.
One that's a couple $100s. And some of them are looking for the larger, they owe 4 quarters worth of taxes that are over $10,000, water and sewer.
You mentioned water and sewer. They are on the tax list because they are a municipal property in effect.
Yes.
It is a municipal debt, so electricity or gas, nothing like that would make a tax list.
Not in Old Bridge.
Not in Old Bridge, okay. If people bid, and you mentioned the premium, let's say it does go down to 0. So I can be back and forth jockeying with somebody.
Yes.
When does it become, well, as you said, everybody has to know their limits,
Yes.
what they want to do and what they're going to do strategically before they get in there.
Yes.
But let's say it gets down to 0. What happens then? You mentioned used the word premium.
Yes.
So the $5,000, nobody's going to bid anything on it. Now they're going to pay a premium. What does that mean?
Well, when the lien holder pays a premium, say they pay a $500 premium on a lien, they give the $500 to the township. It's held in a trust account.
Okay.
If the lien redeems within 5 years, the lien holder gets back that $500. No additional interest or anything, just the $500 back. If after 5 years the lien does not redeem, it gets escheated to the township automatically. Also, if the lien holder forecloses on the property, the premium goes directly to the township.
So the $5,000 that's in arrears, I've got to pay that to the township plus the $500 premium?
No. The property owner does not need to pay the $500 premium.
No, I mean the bidder has to pay to the township.
The bidder has to pay it to
That's
the
what I mean, I'm
township.
sorry. The
Yes.
bidder has to pay that $5,000 plus the premium.
Yes.
Plus the $500 premium, okay.
Yes.
It's got to be a pretty valuable piece of property to go to a premium, doesn't it?
It is. One of the reasons why I think they bid up in premium, and it'll be interesting this year, the first year doing a standard tax sale in over 10 years, is once the lien holder receives the certificate,
Yes.
they can pay any subsequent taxes or water and sewer on the property, and that accrues to the lien at 18% interest.
Okay, hold that thought if you would, Dawn, please. We're getting ready to take a break right now.
Okay.
Folks, we're going to take a break right now. We're talking with Dawn Swoboda, who is our tax collector. We're talking about a subject many of us don't know much about, and maybe we don't want to know too much about it, municipal tax liens and tax sales. We'll be back in a moment. Please stay with us.
You made her college years possible, opening that education savings account when she was little, spearheading campus tours, and deciphering financial aid. If you can ace planning for college, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Fast-paced family life in need of a slowdown?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Did you know all those green shapes on maps are parks and forests? It's true. Visit discovertheforest.org and plan to visit a park or forest near you. instead of just wondering what it would have been like.
While the word forest might make you think of distant lands from far, far away, please note parks and forests are closer than you think, which means things like beautiful scenery, fresh air, and family time are also closer than you think.
Folks, welcome back to Let's Talk About. Our guest today is Dawn Swoboda, who is the Township Tax Collector. We're talking about municipal tax liens, municipal tax sales. And Dawn, if we can pick up where we left off, people now have bid on a lien, or tax certificate, I guess is the official term, right? Tax sale certificate.
Yes.
What do they do then? What do they present to the township? They have to pay cash, credit card? How do they pay the township?
The lien holders would pay using either cash, a certified bank check, or bank check money order, or an ACH wire transfer. We don't accept any personal checks, business checks, just because if they bounce
it gets a bit of a problem. Yes. They have another problem on your hands, right?
Yes.
Okay. In your experience in doing this, what is the smallest or the largest amount you've ever seen a lien put on?
The smallest amount, and $100, $200.
Really?
Sometimes a small added assessment.
Yes.
Sometimes a small water and sewer bill.
Right.
Large, usually somewhere in the $10,000 to $20,000 range.
Really?
We did have one time a business in town that had a $50,000 water bill that a lien was placed on it, but.
How long does it take for an arrears to build or a debt to build before it goes on the tax list? Is it a year, 6 months, a
well,
year and a half?
For the standard tax sale, like for this year's tax sale, it would be anything 2017 and prior.
2017. Okay.
With the accelerated tax sale, it's the current year taxes.
Okay. Can I buy more than one tax lien?
Yes.
I can.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the role of the property owner. Now, the property owner is sort of on the sideline at this point, right?
Yes.
Their property has gone to a tax sale.
Yes.
What is their role now going forward in paying down that lien, paying off that lien? If say they come into money, who do they pay that money to? To the lien holder or to the township?
Once the lien goes on the property, the lien holder we become the middleman between the property owner and the lien holder.
Okay.
So if the homeowner or an interested party, a mortgage company, if they're looking to sell, an attorney or title company, they would request a redemption through the tax collector's office. Then they send the money to us. We notify the lien holder that it redeemed for this amount. They verify the numbers if they're in agreement. They relinquish to us the original tax sale certificate endorsed for cancellation, and sign vouchers for the payment. And then in that case, we release the money to the lien holder.
The money goes to the lien holder that they had the tax sale certificate on, in
Yes.
effect. So if it's $5,000, they will get that plus whatever interest.
Yes, and just to backtrack a little bit,
Yes, ma'am,
after the tax sale, a certificate is issued to the lien holder for the amount that they paid. They in turn will record it at Middlesex County Clerk's office, where all
Okay.
deeds, mortgages, any other type of liens get recorded.
Right.
So it's recorded there. So if the homeowner does ever go to sell the property, there's a title search done.
Good point.
It comes up on there as a title search.
Okay, now, I own this lien. When can I foreclose? Let's say there is no activity, the property owner has failed to pay. How long do I have to wait to get my money to foreclose on the property?
A third-party lien holder, it's 2 years from the date of tax sale, they can start foreclosure proceedings. So
Okay.
even that, it's not like the 2-year mark hits, boom, you lost your house.
Right.
With the foreclosure process, there is plenty of notification through the courts.
So during the foreclosure process, the property owner still has an opportunity to redeem and to reclaim their property.
Yes, they have the right to redeem up until there's a final judgment. And many of these investment companies who come to purchase the liens, they're not looking to buy houses. They're looking for
They're
an
looking for
investment,
money,
and they're
an
looking for their
investment,
money
right.
back. So I've even seen where there has been a final judgment, and then the property owner comes up with the money, gets a loan, something, and they will vacate the lien holder will vacate the final judgment on the property and take the money, and then
Okay.
the property is still retained.
Dawn, one thing we discussed briefly off the air, and that is what happens when a property goes underwater, like it did in the recent 10 years ago in the recent bubble burst, or when you have a situation like a Sandy or something like that, and the property becomes less valuable. What happens then in terms of the tax sale, in terms of the lien? What happens?
I've found in my experience, investors will still bid on if it's a vacant property you're
Right.
talking about.
Yeah.
That has a house, has a structure on it. Because they could always, if there's no payments being made and the lien's not redeemed, they can foreclose on the property, rehab it, and resell it. I mean, these lien holders, they do their research. Because
I'm
one thing
sure.
I've found during tax sales, the properties that don't get bid on are vacant land.
Okay.
And that's because it's unknown. There could be environmental issues, contamination, wetlands.
Right.
So they don't want to take that chance bidding on vacant land, which is different from vacant property. If it's just, the house was abandoned, I do find that they still will bid on it.
Okay, how about a situation like Sandy, where houses are destroyed? They're just not there anymore. What happens to the taxes is it on the property, is it on the building? Taxes still have to be paid?
Yes. In the case of Sandy, which happened the end of October of 2012,
Yes, ma'am.
the homeowners still had to pay fourth quarter taxes
Okay.
as they were billed, for the year that included the structure of the house and
Right.
the property. Then for the next year, the tax assessor reduced the assessments to reflect, the current condition of the property.
Oh, they do reduce. Okay, that's what it
but
meant.
not till the following year.
The following year,
Yeah.
okay. So they're not paying ad infinitum on a piece of property that's no longer there or a building that's no longer there. It's reduced accordingly.
Correct, but not until the following year. Once the assessments are set for the year, which is about the middle of January,
Yes.
then that's what the owner is paying taxes on for the full year. So for instance, if you have a fire February 1st on the property, completely destroys the structure, it's demolished. Unfortunately, the homeowner does still have to pay taxes through the end of the
Really?
year.
Wow.
Yes.
Dawn, what happens when the township comes to foreclose? When does the township foreclose? Say somebody just walks away from their property. They just walk away. They can't pay the taxes. The property's underwater and with the mortgage people. What does the township do then?
Well, the township can start in rem foreclosure 6 months from the date of the tax sale.
Okay.
If they choose. And the same thing with the third-party lien holders as far as foreclosure. It's if they choose to pursue the foreclosure.
But then the township becomes the property owner, de facto property owner.
Yes.
They don't want that, though. You don't want them
No.
owning property, right?
No. One of the reasons, if the township does foreclose on property, they're looking to turn it around and sell it as soon as possible to get it back on the tax rolls and generating
Right. And how do they do
revenue.
that? How do they do that? If you foreclose on a piece of property and you don't want to own the property, how do you sell it again? Do you go to a real estate agent? Do you sell it on the open market? Or how do you do it? Do you list on the open market with a Remax or somebody like that? Or
I don't think the township would do it that way. I'm not sure about third-party lien holders, but usually if the township's going to sell property, they could do it either publicly, where similar to, I guess, a tax sale, people come in and can bid on it, or it could be done like a private.
long term, big picture, how many properties are actually foreclosed? How many people actually lose their property to a lien holder?
I only see maybe 1 or 2 a year.
And is that for major amounts or trivial amounts? I mean, it seems like very trivial for somebody to lose their house for couple $100 in water bills or something.
Yes, it can be for both, and actually I think we touched on it before the break.
Right.
One of the things that the lien holder can do once they receive the tax sale certificate
Right.
is they can pay subsequent taxes and water and sewer
Right.
on the property, and it accrues at 18% interest to the tax sale certificate.
Okay.
So that's kind of where people get in trouble, where if they have a small couple $100 balance,
Yeah.
then if they're not keeping current, either paying off the lien balance, which needs to be paid in full, or making payments towards subsequent taxes and water and sewer, the lien holder will pay it as soon as it becomes past due. It accrues to the lien, it makes the lien bigger, and then the property owner has a harder time trying to get all the money together.
I'm just going to say that
redeem
that
the
makes it
lien.
a lot tougher if that takes place, huh?
Yes.
So property, it's in best interest, obviously, the property owner to do everything they can to avoid this entire
Yes.
situation any way they can.
Yes.
Okay.
And one other thing that I tend to find with water and sewer liens, a lot of these homeowners, they have mortgages on their property that are paying taxes. These mortgage companies don't want to see a third party lien go on the property because the township's lien or this type of lien takes precedence over the mortgage lien.
It really does.
Yes.
A lien takes precedence over a mortgage.
Yes.
So a small lien can take precedence over a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 mortgage.
Yes.
Really? That's interesting.
Yes. So many times I find, especially with the water and sewer liens, a lot of times the banks just can't keep up and get the, pay the money before the tax sale.
Yeah.
But they will come in usually within a couple months after the tax sale and redeem the liens, especially in those like water and sewer type cases, because they don't want that lien to stay on the property.
That's interesting. That a small lien would take precedence over a very large mortgage.
Yes.
Wow, that's interesting. Gives some people something to think about, huh?
Oh, yeah.
One thing we discussed briefly off the air, Dawn, and that is, without sounding too devious, can a municipality use this situation as a redevelopment tool? Say they want to, another form of eminent domain. They want to foreclose on properties to clear them away. Is that a valid use, or is it sort of a devious way to do it?
No, they could do it if there was a property of interest.
Yes.
I find, at least in Old Bridge, all the tax sales that I've conducted have we're very I'm trying to think of the word, popular with the lien holders.
Okay.
They like to come to our tax sales. Pretty much the only thing that gets struck off are smaller pieces of vacant land.
Okay.
So I don't know of any cases recently
It wouldn't be used as a policy,
where
as a
we would
township
use
policy.
it.
You
No.
wouldn't use it. Okay.
No.
Good. I didn't think you were that way.
No.
Okay. Dawn, I think you've done a great job. Just before we go, if you'd help us out one more time, anything bidders have to do in advance? Register?
We do like them to register in advance, but if not, they can come the morning
Come and
of.
walk in. Okay.
Yes.
Just to repeat for the benefit of people who may be interested, where is the tax sale this year? In the council
It's
chambers?
held in the courtroom at the in the administration building, and
Yep.
it's going to be Wednesday, September 26th at 10 a.m.
At 10 a.m. And it goes until,
It goes until we're done. It depends on
Never
how many
done.
properties.
do you have any idea how many you have this year? We
Right
haven't gotten around
now-
the list.
Right now, there's just under 900 to start.
900 properties.
Yes.
Wow. That's pretty significant. I'd love to see this list when you get it ready. I'm not sure I'm going to be bidding, but I'd love to see the list. Dawn, last thing, website, phone numbers, we'll put them on the screen.
Okay.
Where should they look for information?
Our website is www.oldbridge.com. We also post the tax sale list there. Phone number 732-721-5600, extension 2999, or they can email taxcollection@oldbridge.com.
Okay. Well, Dawn, I want to thank you for coming in today. You did a great job.
Thank
A
you.
tough subject.
Yes.
And tough, I think, just emotionally draining, I'm sure, on some
Oh,
people.
yes.
To
Yes.
put them through this kind of torture and this kind of stress to be in this situation. Thanks again for coming in. Appreciate it. Lots of luck with the tax sale, and maybe make the township some money too. Huh?
Yes. Thank you for
Okay.
having me.
Thank you, Dawn. Folks, this has been Let's Talk About for this time. I'm Gene McLaughlin. I want to thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care.